I don't think I do it.
But Arsenal started like a house on fire. Signing number 2 for this new era. It's Judgment Day, people. Yeah! What did your boy tell you? It was never in doubt. Never in doubt. Don't believe in any luck, I believe I'm self-made, yeah. Now then, people, welcome back to the Just Joe Football Show. It is Saturday evening, the morning before the night before. I don't know, I've said that wrong. Before we get into the video, as is always the case, please do smash a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, and of course, get your comments in. This is your Leeds versus Crystal Palace pre-match chat. I hope you're all doing well. Please get your comments in, of course. We've got loads to dissect, loads to discuss. As Leeds look to really curb what has been a poor run of form since getting beat by Chelsea, since beating Chelsea 3-0. We're on a 4-game winless run now, drawing 2, lost 2. We need to start getting some wins on the board, because if not, we're going to have to start looking, over our shoulders. Because let's take our opponents tomorrow, for example, Crystal Palace. Crystal Palace currently lying 17th. I think it's a false position, personally. I do think they will climb up the table. But if Palace were to win tomorrow, they'd be on the same points as us. And already then it's another position getting closer. You've got West Ham behind us as well, who will continue to improve. Wolves got a new manager coming in the door. Leicester, I thought we'd see a turnaround, but they got beat 3-1 today by Bournemouth. But you get the point that I'm making, is that Leeds United need to... If we win tomorrow, you can sort of breathe a sigh of relief again for another couple of weeks, personally, for me. Because the teams down the bottom don't win an awful lot. That's why they're down there, right? So if Leeds United can get a win, it rests that a little bit. We don't have to be concerned about what's going on behind us for a little bit, We've got Arsenal up next. However, if we were to lose this, then we've got Arsenal. Then it starts to get a little bit hairy, for me personally. Now, I don't think we will get relegated or be in a relegation fight. That's just my opinion. However, that can soon change if we don't start to pick up wins. And look, Selhurst Park's a tough place to go. I had earmarked the Aston Villa game as one we would pick up 3 points and maybe get a point away at Palace, and I'm happy with that, 4 points. It could come on the flip side and maybe we win tomorrow and then 4 points, still happy. But Selhurst Park notoriously is a tough place to go. Of course, they're winless now as well. In 4 games, they've drawn 2 and lost 2. And they are 17th in the table. So admittedly, when you look at it, you think, well, they ain't all that. They're 17th. They're not having a great season. But what I will say, and Jesse said this in his presser as well, is that Crystal Palace have actually played like 4 of the top 5, I think, already. So, I mean, I'll show you their results so far this season, and we can take a look at it, and you can tell me what you think. But I think it's a bit of a false position. Now, obviously, they started the campaign with a 1-1 draw at home against Brentford. Brentford are a good side. Then they played Man City. Now, remember, they did go 2-0 up in this game against Manchester City. And then, of course, Erling Haaland turned up and just ripped it up, because that's what he does, right? We know this. The guy's demonic. Yeah, forget about the EFL Cup. They then beat Villa 3-1, who we really struggled against. And even before we had a man sent off, I still, feel we were struggling. They then get a draw at Anfield. Regardless of how poor Liverpool have been this season, that's still a great result. And they get beat by Arsenal. Arsenal are flying. Obviously, they had 2 games postponed. Then got a point away at St. James's. Again, a very tough place to go. They're flying at the minute. I think they've scored like 9 goals in 2 games, Newcastle. Drawn a lot, but St. James's Park will be a tough place to go for any team this season. So to get a point there is a decent one. And then, as I say, they played Chelsea and just got beat late on. And you could argue as well, they didn't get the rub of the green because Thiago Silva should have been sent off as well for a handball. So I think they're in a bit of a false position personally, right? So don't be lulled into a false sense of security when you do see their league position. One thing I will say as well, Selhurst Park is a tough place to go. Of course, they only have one league win this season, and that came against Aston Villa. But they are unbeaten at home in 10 of their last 12 competitive games at that ground, okay? And both of the Premier League home defeats came against opponents who were in the top 5, who were very, very good sides. And like's been said, their position is false for me. They were great against Chelsea. Again, they were in front against City. They were winning 2-0. You know what I mean? They're no mugs, Crystal Palace. And it'll be a very tough place for us. Now, Leeds United have actually done okay there in recent times, especially since being in the Premier League. We've had no losses in 4 against Palace. A couple of draws, the odd win here and there. I think the last time Crystal Palace beat us was that first game up in the Premier League when they beat us 4-1 and they got mad lucky. If you remember, I can't remember who it was. Was it Zaha who took a mad shot from like near enough the corner flag and it took a wicked deflection past Ayling and ended up going in the back of the net? So recently we've done all right against them. I'll show you our previous head-to-head meetings as well, so you can have a look at the previous results we've had against them in the Premier League. Just bear with me 1 second while I get that up. Why is that not scrolling down? Sorry about this, folks. It should be scrolling down. It's not scrolling down. There we go. Right, okay. There we go. I'm going to share this with you now on SofaScore, just to show you. Because listen, my memory is not the best anyway, so it's just to remind everyone. But if we look at our Premier League fixtures with them since we returned, obviously that one there at Selhurst Park where they did beat us, 4-1, and it was a bit of a mad game if I remember rightly. I'm just going to have a look at the game in itself. But it was the game that Bamford had the offside call as well, I believe, where we there it is there. Yeah, look, Scott Dan scored, then Bamford scored, and it was chalked off for him basically having a fingernail offside. If you remember, he basically pointed where he wanted it, and it wasn't Ayling, it was Helder Costa that the ball came off. So I think Zaha took a strike, it bounced off Helder Costa and ended up going in the back of the net. It really was a bit of a strange game, let's say, in that one against them. I don't know where that's gone now. I'm looking back at the matches. Where's it gone? Sorry about this. So if we look, since then, as I say, we've actually done okay. We've had a couple of decent results against them. We beat them obviously last season as well at Selhurst Park and getting draws at home. So recently we haven't done too bad against Crystal Palace, which is good news, right? Because I wasn't confident going into this as well. And Tony O'Shea's bang on the money as well. I was just about to bring this up. Zaha hasn't scored in 9 against us either. Okay. He's a very, very good player. Whenever we seem to come up against Wilfried Zaha, for me, it just seems to bitch and moan. And I think a lot of that's due to the fact that we've had some sort of experienced operators going up against him. And I'm going to lean into this when I give you my preferred 11 for this game. Because basically I'm concerned about Rasmus. I'm concerned about Rasmus up against Wilfried Zaha. Whereas Ayling has dealt with him and kept him quiet to an extent on a number of occasions. So for me personally, I'd like to see Luke start this game against Wilfried Zaha, because I think it could give Rasmus a bit of a torrid time personally. I may be wrong. I hope I'm wrong, because I think Jesse will go for Rasmus in this fixture. But if I was picking the team, I'd have Ayling there for me, for sure. Of course, like I said earlier, we need to arrest this winless run that we're on. We've drawn 2 and lost 2 since that great day, that great win against Chelsea. But we've not looked anything like that since. And our away form isn't great either. We've only had 1 win in our last 6 Premier League away games, and that was that Brentford one at the end of the season, which kept us up. So we've drawn 2 and lost 3 in that time. So we haven't won away from home in the last 6. Feather in our cap, though, we've scored twice in 3 of our last 4 away games, right? So that shows us that we can score goals wherever we're playing, at Ellen Road or away from home. That isn't the issue. The issue for Leeds United this season has been defensively. We know that. I think everything from Adams and Rocket up, for me, has been great this season. And that includes, like, Rodrigo. You know, he's been immense. So everything from Rocker and Adams up, great. It's behind what's not been great, you know? And now, for me, and I know a lot of you disagree, Cooper addresses that. Cooper addresses that scenario because he's come back in the side and we've got a clean sheet. That's no coincidence for me. Yes, he had shaky moments. I'm not saying he didn't. Yeah. He had very, very shaky moments in that his headers were poor. He was heading them into dangerous areas. But I put that down to ring rustiness for me personally. I think it's no surprise that he came in, especially when you consider we went down to 10 men and we were defensively resolute. He's a leader at the back. We don't have enough of them. So for me, Cooper is a massive plus to that. I know a lot of people would say Strauch and Koch and bring Firpo. Maybe they wouldn't say that. Maybe they don't want Firpo anywhere near it, which I understand as well. But I just, Koch and Strauch, they don't have that leader vibe. I think Jesse Marsh said, he's becoming more of a leader when he was talking about Koch, but he is pretty quiet on the pitch. Yeah. We don't see that really apart from Liam Cooper. So for me, he sort of arrests that defensive frailty. I know a lot will disagree, but I think having him back there is a positive. What we can't do though is leave the defence too open. I think Crystal Palace will play over the top. I think they will look to get the likes of Zaha and Eze and Elise and Edouard, whoever is playing for them, AU especially as well. I'm sort of glad, as much as I've said going forward, I have missed Junior Firpo. Well, I say missed, that's incorrect. I've looked at Strauch's game and thought we could do with a proper left-back who's able to whip balls in, attack the full-back, which I'm not saying Firpo's amazing at, but you can see that when the ball sometimes comes out to Strauch, you're like, right, whip. And we need that really when Patrick's in the side. But I look at it and sometimes I'm like, yeah, he doesn't have that. And I'm not going to batter him for that because he's been one of our standout performers, this season. So an AU will play. AU doesn't score a lot, doesn't assist a lot, but he just never stops running. I believe Jordan Ayew's played for Bielsa before as well. And you can imagine he would have been perfect under Bielsa. He's been linked with Leeds in the past as well. I need to fact check that, but I swear Jordan Ayew has played under Bielsa. Let me check this. Someone tell me in the comments if I'm right. I swear he has. He has, right? Marseille? Yeah. Yeah. I'm right. So Jordan Ayew played with it, and I can see that, right? I can understand why he would have worked under Bielsa because he's just non-stop. Yeah, he's non-stop. Maybe lacks little bits of quality, but there's a reason Patrick Vieira plays him all the time. And I'd argue I'd rather Strauch be up against Jordan Ayew than Firpo for this game. I'd said last game I would have liked to have seen Firpo. This one I'm okay with Strauch. I suppose it's good to have options, but I think Strauch would do a better job up against Ayew than what Firpo would. I'd see Firpo getting a card. Pretty early, and Jordan Ayew just giving him a bit of a torrid time. He's a bit of a wily character. You know, he's a bit of a a wily character. Big up to everyone in the chat as well, saying hello and that. Thank you all for being here. I know it's late on a Saturday evening, but things have changed, so I have to do them at different times and whatnot now. So thank you for understanding that. Please do smash a like on the video as well if you could do that for me. We've only got 65 likes. There's over 140 people watching, so if you could like the video for me, that would be greatly appreciated. If you could do that. So please do that. So hopefully, I know I've gone off on a bit of a tangent. We can be defensively more resolute tomorrow, yeah? Big up Paul Smith as well. Nice to see you, brother. Now, Patrick Bamford. Patrick Bamford's the big one. I think Patrick Bamford, we were told, starts. We have heard it before. Just let me adjust this light a little bit. It doesn't look bright enough on YouTube. I hope that looks a bit better. Yeah, so for me, Patrick Bamford, if he does start, I am a lot more confident going into the fixture. If 1 o'clock arrives and Patrick Bamford starting and leading the line for Leeds United, it's a massive win. It's a massive win. And look, Patrick Bamford has a good record against teams that he's played for. And he played for Palace. Okay, it wasn't a great period in his career, but he's got 4 goals against his old clubs across his last 6 appearances. So he's got a bit of a decent record. He probably sees it as a way to stick 2 fingers up to them. Because the mad thing is, these Norwich fans, these Palace fans, whoever he's played at, they all dislike him for whatever reason. Burnley fans. I don't know why, because for me, he's the least upsetting character you would ever, know. I mean, I've never met him personally, but when I see him on the pitch, I don't look at him and think, he's not Richarlison, is he? Do you know what I mean? He's not a Pontus Jansson. He's not a Danny Ayala. He's not all these different characters, a Roy Keane. It's Patrick Bamford. Posh boy. Maybe that's why he gets stick. But, yeah, he's got 4 goals across his last 6 appearances against former clubs. So if he starts, he might be worth a shout in the goal-scoring charts. And he's pivotal to how Leeds United play. I've said before, people mention all these strikers we've got at the football club. Rodrigo, Gelhardt, Perkins, Gnonto, Greenwood even, Mateo Joseph. None of them do what he can do. We need a profile of striker similar to Patrick. I said that. I got loads of stick for it, right? But someone like a Morphe, someone like a Shea Adams, whoever you like, name whoever you like. But it's that profile of striker that Leeds United need. And we've needed it so badly. We've seen that against Villa. As soon as he came on the pitch, he was able to hold the ball up, bring others into play, win free kicks, and get us out of trouble. The change should have been made straight away when we went down to 10 men for me. But it all depends on how many minutes he can give you. That's why I'm still sceptical on whether or not he'll start, because can he play 90 minutes? So therefore, will Jesse go somewhere else and bring him on for 45 potentially? You know? So he's pivotal. He's pivotal for me. And we will improve as a side with him in it. And I hear and see the chat about goal scoring and all that. And there was that chance that he basically cleared his own chance off the line in the last game that he played. I forget it because my memory is rubbish. Brentford, wasn't it? Brentford. But it's everything else with Bamford. It's everything else with him that we miss and we lack, you know? So if he starts, I'm a lot more confident, because if he doesn't, to be honest, I'm not confident going into this game anyway. You know? Because I feel like Palace will frustrate. They will get in behind us. And I think the thing is, when the impetus is on Leeds United, which they might, tend to do at times and say, come and attack us, we just can't break teams down with the style that's set up, I don't think. Not that I've seen. Maybe Palace being at home means they might come out a little bit more at us, and hopefully that is the case, and we can cause them problems. But I'm not confident going into the tie. But like I said, history is on our side. We've got no losses in 4 against Palace. Yeah. There's been less than 2.5 goals in 4 of the last 5 meetings as well. So it's not going to be a goal fest if history is to be repeated. And 0-0, 1-0, 1-1. I'd take a draw. I would take a draw right now. Because it's all about us just... It's rubbish, isn't it? It's rubbish. I miss the excitement of the Bielsa era. I do. But it's all about just staying in the division. And we're in that place where we just need mid-table obscurity for a couple of seasons. But it's rubbish, isn't it? This is the Premier League, though. At the minute, I'm not enjoying watching it, folks. I'm not. I can't lie to you. I won't lie to you. I know it might sound like I'm being dramatic, but when we are not... The thing is with this system is when we're not winning, it looks terrible. And it doesn't fill me with confidence when I go into games. Under the previous manager, and I hate to hark back to him, but Bielsa's ruined football for me. Bielsa's ruined football for me, really. Because I always believed, man. I don't have that now. I'm a bit like, yeah, Palace away, tough place. It's probably going to be an horrible game to watch. Hopefully we can get a point, nick a goal. You know what I mean? That kind of vibe. Yeah, it is what it is. Look, team news-wise, some massive pluses is Joachim Andersen picked up a calf injury before the trip to Chelsea, and Nathaniel Klein was stretchered off in that game as well with an ankle injury. So there has been talk that Joachim Andersen may play, but I'm not sure Vieira will rush him back. And I hope he doesn't, because I've said to you on a number of occasions when talking about Palace, maybe Tarkowski and Cody aside, Guehi and Anderson are the best centre-back partnership outside of the top 6 for me. And you've just to look, this is what I mean. I think Bamford gets more joy out of a centre-back partnership of Guehi and Tompkins as opposed to Guehi and Anderson. Just cast yourself back to a couple of weeks ago when Palace got that 1-1 draw against Liverpool at Anfield. Darwin Núñez was that hammered by Anderson that he headbutted him. He had him in his pocket that much. Now, I know that's not amazing because Darwin Núñez is basically turning into the Uruguayan Andy Carroll, right? Let's be real here. He's not all that, is he? He's no Haaland. Couldn't lace one of his boots, let alone both of them. But if you watch the highlights clip of that game, Joachim Andersen schooled him. It was excellent centre-back play. And I loved watching it when you watch that compilation. So I remember the first season, Bamford killed it, as we know. And then I remember we played Everton early on in that second season. And Yerry Mina wouldn't leave him alone. And they had a to-in and fro-in throughout that game. And Bamford's a bit of a marked man now when he does play. But in that second season prior to his injury, people knew how good he was. When you first come up, bit of an unknown entity. What qualities have they got? Is Bamford Premier League, etc.? He's had little, tries at it. Never really worked out on loan. But when he came in that first season, he was immense, right? He got an England call-up, for God's sake. The second season around, I remember doing my post-match after that Everton game and Yerry Mina just all over him. And I expect if he starts, that Joachim Andersen will just, boom, be on him. Bearded Peacock, we got smacked 4-1 when we went there with Biel's mate. 0-0 with Jesse Marsh last season. Not as attractive, but definitely defensively better. Yeah, I mean, that game's an anomaly, though. We were discussing it earlier. They scored some weird goals. They didn't deserve to beat us 4-1. And Bamford, had he have scored with that offside call, then it's a different game. But, yeah, I hear it. I understand where you're coming from, Bearded Peacock, but the football's rubbish. So I don't really care that we go get a point. I'll keep coming back to it. I want to be entertained, me, as a fan. Like I said, Bielsa ruined football for me because I sat at Ellen Road through Warnock, through Steve Evans, and I just watched it. I didn't mind it. I just got on with it, right? But then Bielsa came, and then I'm like, wow. And now it's like, yeah, I don't know. Like, I hear what you're saying, though, points win your prizes and all that sort of stuff. But there has to come a point where it has to look all right, surely. That's just my opinion. You can disagree. And that's fine. But sometimes it's just minging. Even when we win, and hear me out here, even when we win, it looks minging. But we don't care because we win. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, even sometimes when we win games, it's minging. But you aren't asked because you're winning, right? You're winning. Andy says it takes two teams to entertain, Joe. Yeah, I hear that. I hear that as well. But someone needs to take the bull by the horns, right? Gary says, I agree. Dreadful to watch, but for now, is it what keeps us up? Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But if we get to the magical 37 points or something, I want to see some exciting football. And it's clear that certain sections of the fan base think that too. I know a lot of my followers do on this channel, but Graham Smith asked him the question as well. Do you think the fans are enjoying the football? Do you like to play attractive football? Do the players want to play attractive football? And they were questions that were put to Jesse. So there's other people saying it as well, you know what I mean? But like Ben, yeah, it's all about opinions, isn't it? It's all about opinions. And we can only go off the most recent performance. But there were signs in pre-season. I remember the Crystal Palace. This is what I keep coming back to as well. Crystal Palace in pre-season was bad. And I remember reacting afterwards, saying, this is bad. If we go into the season like this and people saying, no, you need to relax, and there is something in that as well. But if we play anywhere close to, and the game goes anywhere close to that one in pre-season, we get beat because they had like 6 first teamers not even in the squad. They were still in England. But look, if Joachim Andersen doesn't play, that's a massive, massive plus for Leeds United for sure. I think it would be good. And listen, it's fine margins, right? Where we are in the league. Yeah. It is so bunched up right now. If we have a look at the current table here, Leeds United currently in 13th. Like I said, if Palace were to win tomorrow, we're in 17th. They would basically go on the same points as us. We're on 9. They're on 6. They would go on the same points. If we win tomorrow, boom, we're up here. We're up in 8th. We're in the top 10. This is what I'm stating, yeah? It's so bunched up right now. And because we've had a couple of decent results at the start of the season, you can breathe a sigh of relief, right? But if you then start to win, start to lose. If you start to win, it's great. But if you then start to lose, then you quickly get dragged in. There's a lot of sides down there for me that I couldn't call it. I keep saying Bournemouth every week. They won't keep it up. They keep keeping it up. I think Fulham have a very good team this season. I don't think Steve Cooper will see the season out at Forest. If they brought in a Rafa Benitez, it's a good one. Will Leicester sack their manager? Will Lopetegui at Wolves do well? Crystal Palace definitely won't be down there. West Ham definitely won't be down there. I worry about Villa. I worry about Southampton. But again, it's very difficult right now to know where actually Leeds United are. But one thing's for certain is, if we win tomorrow, we can breathe a sigh of relief for a couple of weeks again. Because this is the thing with mid-table, right? We had a good start to the season. We've then drawn 2, lost 2. We need to then follow that up with some wins. If we follow that up with some wins, then we just keep yo-yoing in and around the mid-table spots where we are currently. But if we don't get them wins, then we start to fall. Like I said, if Palace win tomorrow, boom, they're on the same points as us. You know, we've got Arsenal next. And Arsenal are flying right now. I think Arsenal beat Liverpool tomorrow for me. So it is fine margins. We do need to definitely start winning some games of football, that's for sure. Now, SofaScore have got their predicted lineups, and we'll have a look at that now, of how they expect Leeds United and Crystal Palace to line up tomorrow. Sorry, it's whoscored.com that I'm on. So if we have a look at the lineups here, they have got Tompkins in instead of Anderson. Now, I've seen a Mukhtar Buttar, who's a follower of my channel, a Crystal Palace fan, seems to believe that he will go with Joachim Anderson. That it is touch and go with Anderson. I question whether or not he'll throw him into this game. He'll want him to be 100%. But Guaita in goal, Tyreek Mitchell at left back again can cause problems for Rasmus. Down that left-hand side, really, Zaha, Mitchell, Guehi, England call-up, great centre-back, bought from Chelsea, of course. Tompkins and Ward are the two. Obviously, you should have Anderson. You should have Klein in there. I'm hoping Jack Harrison on his favoured left side. We get the early season Jack Harrison because he can cause them problems. I think Bamford can cause Tompkins problems. The midfield three, again, Elise and Eze, massive fans of. New signing Decore as well. And then the front three, Jordan Ayew, Wilfried Zaha and Edouard. Very, very good side. Very good side. Now, this is how they've gone. And I think this will be our lineup tomorrow. I do believe this will be our lineup tomorrow. However, personally, I would make a change to that. And the change that I would have would be Luke Ayling at right back. I would rather see Luke Ayling up against Wilfried Zaha than Rasmus. And the reason I say that is because, like we've said, Zaha has drawn a blank against Leeds United for the past 9 games. 9 games, and he's not scored against us. And Luke Ayling's been a mainstay up against Zaha for a lot of that. And he's always done well. Zaha's always got into a stage where he's bitched, he's moaned. I can just remember off the top of my head the amount of times he's throwing his arms up, he's complaining because Luke Ayling gives him a torrid time. And that would be my change. Everything else stay the same. I like Stroud. I've been asking for Firpo to come in just because I like when we get in this area, Firpo to whip balls in for Bamford. But up against Ayew, I'd prefer Pascal. But I want Luke Ayling to be up against Zaha tomorrow. I don't think it'll be happen. I don't think it'll happen. There were also moments as well in that game against Villa where the ball was crossed in. I think Cini crossed in for Rodrigo when he was in here. And there was, I swear, all this space here without a body in it. Ayling would have been up there. Ayling genuinely would have joined in that attack, either cut one back for one of these or put it in the back of the net. Rasmus was still here. There was a number of times that happened. I said it on the watch along. You can go back and check it. I've heard people say it afterwards as well. The space was mental that I know that Luke would have attacked. Now, I might not get that against Palace, but it was an opportunity missed for me for Rasmus. I genuinely think him getting spun on day one by Neto against Wolves, it must be keeping him up at night because, yes, he's great defensively, but our fullbacks need to be getting forward. They're the ones that provide the width. Don't want to be on halfway, for me anyway. You know, and oh, Joe, man, this is mental, bro. Not often I disagree, Joe, but Ayling getting beaten by Ashley Young multiple times now. Zaha will crucify him. So why has he not done it before, brother? Why has he not done it before? He's not done it before, bro. So I disagree, but listen, we'll see. Like you say, not many times you disagree with. Football is about opinions. Big up to my man here, Nathan Kingsley. Thank you so much for the super chat, brother. He says, my original expectation was 14th. We got excited about the opener in the Chelsea game, and now we're coming back to earth. We've had early yellows in the last few games, which I felt impacted our press. There's something in that as well, Nathan. But we have also said as well on a number of occasions, Jesse's teams are very, very aggressive, and it all depends on the referee that we get. It all depends on the referee that we get, because some referees will let it go because we press with such aggression and such pace at times, especially when you look at people like Adams. It can look like a foul because there's contact, there's impact, it's pace. But a lot of it, they win the ball. But some of the referees, for whatever reason, will just blow it up. And I hear you, and then that does affect you. That does affect you, especially with the football we like to play. Rob says he's got a good point, Joe. Ashley Young had Aylin's life a few times, and I'm a Bill fan. History tells me Aylin will do all right. I've given my reasons as to why I think Luke should play, but again, I may be wrong. There are some people that don't rate Aylin. When he came on in that Brentford game, the guy got an assist in about 20 minutes and nearly scored a goal. I just think he offers us so much going forward. I do want to go back to Rob's earlier comment as well. Serious question. Attractive passing, getting 4 or 5 put past you each week, or gritty football, staying up, picking up clean sheets and points. But what I will say in response to that, it wasn't always like that. It wasn't always 4 or 5 pastas. And I don't think it'll continue to always be 4 or 5 pastas. I think for me, where does... This is what I ask myself the question a lot of the time. Where does this football take us? What's the ceiling? Where can it take us? It's very one-dimensional, I think. I don't know where it takes us. I'll say it now, I don't think Jesse will be here long term. Because it'll just run out. It'll peter out. Where do you go? What do you do? I don't know. I may be massively wrong. Honestly, at the minute, it's tough for me. I can't lie. It is tough for me because I do go like, I don't know where are we going? How do we improve? Do you see what I'm saying? Like, where does it go? How do we improve it? Yeah, better personnel. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Like, I think I heard someone say, can you imagine Cine under Bielsa? I'd have been like, yeah, man. Wow. Cine one wing, Rafinha the other. But it is what it is. But, yeah, look, what we wanted was to stay in the division. We will for me. We definitely will stay in the division. And you can click that now because I'm that confident. It will get hairy a couple of times, but like I say, we will go on winless runs. We'll go on winning runs. We might get beat tomorrow. We might get beat against that. Well, not might. I think we will get beat by Arsenal. We never beat them. Ever beat them. Even under Bielsa, when we were class against them, we could only get a point, I think, at Ellen Road, and we battered them. Remember the FA Cup game as well? Battered them first half, came out, beat us. They always beat us. Thierry Henry came back for one game and beat us. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, Nathan's bang on as well, you know. Nathan, you're bang on. I've said this. I am actually, as much as I think we'll get beat by Arsenal because they're flying at the minute, and for me, they're the best team in the league, Bar City, most aesthetically pleasing to watch. I enjoy watching them at the minute. I can't wait for that Arsenal-Liverpool game. The mad thing is I'm looking more forward to that than I am a Leeds game, and that's not great for me. But that's just because of what's being served up at the minute, right? But you bang on here. We may get more joy in the Arsenal game because what happens is they'll come and play their game because they're better than us. They are better players than us. They're not going to come up with a plan to deal with our tactics. They're going to ram home theirs. We're Arsenal. We've got this team. We're top of the league. And that gives us an opportunity. That does give us an opportunity. But teams of similar, and Jesse mentioned this, how tight and nip and tuck it is where we are currently in the league. Villa came away to Ellen Road with a plan, stifled it. And we struggle to then create, for me. It has to be a little bit more open. It has to have the opposition to want to play out from the back and do things that means Leeds United can bam beyond them. So that yeah, it does make sense what you're saying there, from 100%. 100%. And that's why the games just look minging, man. It looks minging. And that's why I expect tomorrow to be much the same. Much the same. The Arsenal one, as much as I think we'll get beat, will actually be an exciting game to watch. I do believe that. I do believe that. But the Palace one tomorrow, I'm like, ooh. Yeah, I'm not looking forward to it. I'm not looking forward to it. But we'll see. We'll see. We did almost beat Villa, mate. You're right. Clicky late on. We did. We almost beat them. And look, hopefully we win tomorrow. Bamford starts. I'm confident. I take a point now. I'll go for a cheeky Leeds United 2-1 win. But I wouldn't be surprised if it's 0-0. I wouldn't be surprised if it's 1-0 Palace. As long as we can keep their front men quiet. And that's why I'd play Luke Ayling, but I understand people wanting Rasmus. I get it as well. But yeah, we'll wait and see. We'll wait and see. I will be doing a watch along for the game. I'll be live at 1:30 from 1:30. You know where your bread's buttered. Been there since day ones. So keep it like that, folks. Yeah. Leeds United Untitled says, never seen you this negative, Joe. I love to hear your positive opinions normally. Come on, man. We can win tomorrow. We can win any game of football. We can win any game of football. But Leeds Untitled, I guess, I mean, maybe you could call it negative then, yeah, but I'm just not sure on what we're going to get. Do you know what I mean? That's what I mean. And I can only, it's never not been, me being positive was never an act. I was positive because of the football that we were served up. I genuinely felt we could win every game of football. Any team, I was like, yeah, nah, we can do that. But at the minute, I'm not sure. Because I don't know how our system is suited to us breaking teams down and creating loads of chances. You know, whereas previously I'd have been like, yeah, man, we'll give them a go, man. Watch this, minute one, bam, bam, bam. It's not like that at the minute. And I think we're quite easy to play against as well. In terms of what, like, straight over the top, beat the press. See all these on-rushing men, just knock it straight over. Knock it in at the channels. They play so narrow, there's so much space for the wingers to move into. So just get it down there. You know? So we'll have to wait and see, won't we? We'll have to wait and see. Listen, thanks as always for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed the preview as best you can. I can only be honest here. I would take a point 100%. Like I said, like Ben says, we're all unsure at the minute, aren't we? We need more time to make a decision. And we are only what? How many games are we in? How many games has been played? 9? 8? How many have we played? 7. We played 7 games as well, right? So maybe I'm being a little bit... We missed the Man United game, and who else was the other game when Liz died? I can't remember. Forest? Was it Forest? No, I don't know. Hoping for a win. Hill Football, thoughts on the Cody Gakpo update? Yeah, on the Cody Gakpo thing, it's the Daily Mirror. I'm not too sure. We'll see. I still don't believe Leeds United will put up the money. I don't think Radrazani nor the 49ers will put up the money. We need one sole proprietor of the football club. If me and Ben Timpson own something, if we owned a house and we were going to sell that house, why am I going to put stuff into it? if it's just about to be sold? Why am I going to go, you know, I'll just spend another couple of grand on this new fireplace or whatever when I'm selling it in a week? You're not going to do it, are you? And I think that's the situation that we're in, is because neither of them want to spend it. 49ers won't want to spend the money because they don't own it yet. And Radrazani won't want to spend it because he's looking to sell. So we need there to be one owner, right? Be one owner and for them to make the decisions. And Leeds United were never serious about Gakpo, man. They put a fucking clause in that deal. 30 million in add-ons, right? 13 million in add-ons. And 6 million of that. So just under half. 6 million of that was based on us getting in the Champions League this season. Can you imagine PSV when they looked at that? They want to give us 6 million if they get in the Champions League. Oh, there's a big chance of that. Yeah, give it them. So the majority of them add-ons, 6 million of 13, was based on us getting in the Champions League. The Champions League. 4th. Please, man. Come on. As positive as you can be, no one's getting 4th. No one, not even the most mental Leeds fan who's in Broadmoor, is telling you we're getting 4th. Do you know what I mean? I just think it's mad. So to put that in a deal is just mental. Mental. Because that 13 million of add-ons, they're never going to get that 6 million. So they must have gone, are they taking the piss? So for me, they were never serious. So I don't see how that's going to change in January. Because this is what I'm saying here. They've gambled. The ownership has gambled a number of times. They gambled again this summer in not bringing in a striker and a left back. If by the return of football on Boxing Day, and when the January window hits, if we're in a decent position in the league, they won't spend people. They won't. Because they'll look at it and go, we'll be all right. We'll be all right. And that's the truth of it. Historically, over the last few windows, we've seen that. Leeds United could have pushed after Bielsa did so well. After we finished 9th. We could have pushed. And we didn't. We missed that opportunity. We could have pushed. This season, they could have given us more because they broke even. They could have given us more. Could have got us a left back and a striker. They tried to get a striker, but you left it at the last time. Bloody Bamba Dieng, and then you've gone for a kid. And he is a kid, Willie Gnonto. He's a kid. He's raw. And he's not the right profile, the striker that we need. But anyway, that's for another day. That'll get repeated in January, trust me. I'll be very surprised if Leeds United are currently, say we're 13th in January, and there's a gap of, 9, 10, 12 points. We won't do any business. We won't do any business. Because like I said, there needs to be a parting of the way. So they'll just look at it and say, why am I going to invest 20 million on a player when we're going to stay up anyway? And in 6 months, I might sell it. Do you see what I'm saying? So I just don't see how they're going to pay that much money for Cody Gakpo. Because Cody Gakpo was good, but now he's just gone up a level. And I don't see him, unless he literally is like dying for the Premier League, I don't see him not going to a team that's playing in the Champions League. And if our season goes how we expect it to go, we probably won't get top 10. So how is he going to go to a side that might not even finish in the top 10 when you consider what he's doing? I think it's mad. I think it's all smoke and mirrors. We'll see. It's all smoke and daily mirror. I'm not too sure on that. Someone tagged me in it like as if to say, told you so. Let's not get too giddy. Let's see if it happens first. I just don't see it. I don't see it. There's not a chance. But we'll see. We'll see. And you can all tell me I told you so, but I'm confident that you won't be saying that. Right, I'm going to shoot now anyway. We've done almost an hour. I'll be live at 1:30 tomorrow for Leeds versus Crystal Palace, where hopefully Leeds United will come away from Selhurst Park with 3 points, and our man Patrick Bamford scored a brace. I'd love to see that. I'd love to see that. Thank you very much for tuning in as always. Enjoy your evening. Smash a like on the way out. Watch some of the other content. YouTube's been hammering me of late. My views and YouTube, it's just took a massive hit. They've got it in for me. They've got it in for me. I'm sure of it. So watch some of the content if you can, and make sure you join me for tomorrow's watch along as well. And enjoy your evening now, and I'll see you tomorrow at 1:30. Peace out, folks.
I don't think I do it.
Arsenal started like a house on fire. Signing number 2 for this new era.